Hi all and welcome back to another Cheltenham Antepost video. I hope you guys have been enjoying this series of videos, obviously some of which have gone by the wayside, some of which are still open. But that's the whole point of anti-post betting, I suppose. You're going to have a bit of luck sometimes, you're going to have a bit of bad luck sometimes, I suppose, and especially considering I've put up a fair few, which is probably a couple too many, but I've put up a fair few. You're always going to have a couple that do go by the wayside. Still have some nice bets ongoing though, with Shakam per SWAT 7s for the Champion Chase, Min at 12s, Botox has at 33s for the Triumph. You know, we've got some good prices out there, and hopefully we can lean on two more here at bigger prices in some of the more obscure races, I'm going to say. It's getting to the stage where, because of entries and because of the betting, you begin to have a bit more of a handle on the handicaps, and you have to see what you think will be well handicapped and what could potentially therefore be completely overpriced at this stage. So I've got two for you today, one in the Boodles Handicap hurdle, formerly the Fred Winter, and there's a 20-1 shot in the form of A Wave of the Sea for Joseph O'Brien. Joseph O'Brien, the winning trainer last year with Band of Outlaws. And A Wave of the Sea, I think, is a horse that's just been tailor-made for a race like this. He's got a lot of experience against the big boys. He has good form in juvenile hurdles over in Ireland, closely matched with Cerberus on form, and was well beaten behind Aspire Tower over Christmas. But I just think this is the type of horse that will potentially have done that at Christmas. He might even run in the Spring Juvenile at Leopardstown this weekend in the Dublin Racing Festival, and could well be well beaten in that. But that might get him into the Fred Winter or the Boodles Handicap off an attractive weight, and he is one of the better juveniles if he was running in that race. He's not good enough, I don't think, to run in the Triumph, and I think O'Brien is beginning to cop onto that up here, thinking that's probably Cerberus is his only good option for that race, and perhaps A Wave of the Sea is a good proposition. If he gets into the Fred Winter, he will be off one of the top weights, I would assume. But remember, the Band of Outlaws won the race off pretty much top weight last year, so it can be done with a class horse in the race. As I say, he's got plenty of experience, which is key in the Fred Winter, and he just strikes me as a type of horse that potentially could make a mockery if you ran him in a handicap for the first time at the Cheltenham Festival. He is currently 20-1 on boards. He's also 16s and 14s in places. So the 20-1 is going like that. People are beginning to wave onto the fact that he could be one of the better chances in this year's Fred Winter. And therefore, I would advise you getting on at 20-1. He's a horse that I've put up a fair few times this year. I've been liking him all year. He hasn't quite progressed into the horse I thought he'd be. I thought at the start of the year he could well be a Triumph hurdle horse. He is short of that mark, but hopefully they now see a good alternative option and running him in the Fred Winter. The other bet, so today's video is obviously going to be a bit shorter. I'm getting on with it. I don't have that much time on my hands. So the second of our two bets today comes in the Fox Hunters Chase. Now, you're probably thinking, looking at me going, why on earth are you tipping anything anti-post in the Fox Hunters Chase? But I simply think this horse is just too big a price. A bit like I did back in November with Urgent de Gregan in the cross country, who I'm still quite sweet on at an each way price of 12s. I put him up at 16s. But you're there going, this horse has kind of been there and done that, and really shouldn't be the price he is, considering there's not that many up-and-comers. It's the same with Urgent de Gregan, but in the Fox Hunters Chase even, it is Shantou Flyer at 14-1, formerly trained by a multiple amount of trainers. Colin Bowe over in Ireland, he then went over to Rebecca Curtis, Richard Hobson, and now he's with point-to-point specialist Rose Loxton. He advertised his form with a nice little point-to-point success in early January, and he's entered up in a Hunter's Chases galore this week. Tomorrow at Hereford, on Thursday at Warwick. So he's going to run in one of these races. He's entered in 4 this week. So I suspect this is going to be his run. And if he puts in a good performance, like if he wins that, I just see that 14-1 going like that. And suddenly he's an 8-1 shot. And I want all of us on at 14-1. He's got very good Cheltenham form, including coming second in this race last year. And if I'm being honest, I know a lot has been said of him recently, with David Maxwell being a very good advertisement for the game, and I think that's true. But the one thing that is true also about David Maxwell is he is significantly improving his riding recently. Last year in the Fox Hunters, he kind of got outridden, to be honest. He got hampered by a loose horse turning in, and his whole chance was gone. I think he'll be more streetwise this time round. He said yesterday in an interview at Plumpton, that his main aim is to get a horse that can win one of these Fox Hunter chases. Shantou Flyer is probably one of his ideal chances of getting that. He's probably his number one hope for the Cheltenham Fox Hunters this year. So therefore, I suspect, unless something goes wrong, he will line up on the day. 14-1 seems a big price, considering I think he's just one Hunter chase win, or even a close second away from considerably contracting in price in the next few days. And I want all of you guys on at 14-1 for last year's second. He's obviously going to have to go a fair bit to turn tables with Hazel Hill, who won the race last year, but I think he's a fairly bang each way chance, and 14-1 is the type of each way price we love getting on. So just to conclude, for this week's video, we've got just two more picks, and it was a Wave of the Sea in the Boodles Handicap, also known as the Fred Winter, at 20-1, and Shantou Flyer in the Fox Hunters Chase at 14-1. Obviously, two more obscure races, so you mightn't have looked at those races yet, but I'm just giving you a few of the thoughts I have been thinking of. Of course, if you did enjoy the video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel down below. It always means a lot. And always, as always, your suggestions, your thoughts are always welcome down below, whether they're positive, whether they're negative, no matter what. Always up for debate and discussion. That's the real premise behind these Cheltenham videos. And as I say, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And until next week, where we'll probably be coming back with a few tips after the Dublin Racing Festival, or actually perhaps maybe a few preview videos of the Dublin Racing Festival later this week. Until then, I'll see you next time.